Hello world, and thank you for tuning into this first Hot Wheels video of mine. I am Bulletproof Diecast, and I've really recently just fallen in love with customizing Hot Wheels. I've done about 5 now, although I don't have any of the cool equipment like airbrushes and stuff, so I've been doing this for real cheap. All of these materials that you're seeing here I bought either at Walmart or at the dollar store, and I had the drill and the tweezers already. So first we're going to start with some nail polish remover. Paint stripper would definitely make this easier, but like I said, I'm trying to do this for real cheap. Soak this in the acetone. Once you drill your post out, of course, soak the body in the acetone for about 10 minutes and clean up any spills, because this can be problematic later, and it kind of eats through your table if you're not doing this on like a workbench. So after 10 minutes has passed, we're going to take the body out and we're going to hit it with the wire brush. We're going to do kind of a waffle pattern where we're going to go up and down and then left to right. This helps chip the paint away a little bit better. Actually, a lot bit better than just hitting it in one direction. Small circles would also probably work, but I was having trouble doing smaller circles on such a small space. This process takes roughly 5 minutes. It's not awful, but be careful with that wire brush, because if you hit your thumb or your finger repeatedly, after a little while it starts to sting. Once we get to a point where most of the paint is gone, you'll just get it built up in the smaller details around the edges. Grab the car with your hand, most of the acetone is off it by this point, and scrub the brush with the car body. That seemed to help get all of the paint off. So after that, we're going to hit it with a flat gray I'm using as a primer. This will really pop all the details and problem spots in the die cast itself, and you can see where they are. After this, we're going to strip the paint off. You can see some of the problem areas here. I hit one of them with this brush and I was determined to get it off, but I just could not do it. So finally I wisened up and I got some sandpaper and did it that way. This is just 200 grit. It got it down real well. But a few seconds. Don't do too hard on the doors though. You don't want to lose those door handles or those door lines. And you can see it's real smooth now and real pretty. And roughing up that surface will help hold the paint down much better. So because we're using a brush, we're gonna have to paint it on again. This is 2 layers right now that you're seeing. I ultimately did 3 of the primer. Very thin layers, otherwise you will build up paint in those details and lose them, and you don't want to do that. Unless you do, I mean, you know, it's your car. So pumpkin orange, because it's fall and I'm a basic white girl. Very thin layers. As I said, we're going to do very thin layers. This is the first coat of the pumpkin orange, and in between each coat you want to hit the inside with your brush, smooth out any blobs that build up around the windows. This is important for installing the windshield later. This is 4 coats, I believe. Ultimately I did 5 on the orange before moving on to Snow White. Now originally the plan was just to paint this top panel kind of like a Mini Cooper. That'd be fun to like mash the 2 together. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it, but I think darker colors would definitely work better for this. So I decided to change plans and I started painting the whole top half here, following that body line around the doors and the hood. In the wild, typically Fiats are a solid color, but I've seen a few of them with this 2-tone scheme to them, usually way more sporty and usually darker tones as well, with like a racing stripe or something. Nothing super fancy today, just 2 solid colors, but I will break it up a little bit with a Sharpie pen, which you'll see here soon. Around this step, take your time, you know, to edge out those orange and white, that contrast line. Just a couple hit swipes with a brush. Then we're going to, with that Sharpie pen, like I mentioned, we're going to fill in any detail lines and any grills, any lines that I want to see pop a little bit more. Kind of adds a new layer to it. I liked it as well. In between the Sharpie and the detailing step, I put two coats of matte clear coat and let it dry for about 2 hours. Then I used our flosser here with some paint to really detail, get those finer details in. I got the headlights, the tail lights, and eventually the emblems and door handles as well. And with that clear coat on, it really helps any mistakes you make at this stage not be permanent, because you can really screw up the whole paint job, and that's not good. So using that pick, you could really get like really fine lines relatively easily. And as you'll notice right here, I kind of screwed up, and this is exactly why we clear coat it. You just wipe it away and start again. Here we're touching up the door handles, and you might want to hit the black lines with the pen again, because the enamel, or sorry, the clear coat kind of messes that up a little bit. Here I'm adding some details to the headlights. Didn't work out super well. I might use a brush for this in the future, but once you put that final clear coat on, it actually doesn't look too bad. But before we do that, we're going to touch up any flaws with the toothpick. And here's the interior. I painted nutmeg brown. It kind of turned into like a nice leather. I just did like a real thin layer in there. And here's the final car. 2 more coats, a clear coat, and I hit the pen again before I put the these final coats on. You can see some dings there. Those are for my thumbnails, actually. I'm not really sure what I did, but it's not the first time I've done it. But it all looks pretty good. All in all, I would say it's a win. I wouldn't like charge for this car by any means, but it's fun, and I'm glad it's in my collection. I also swapped the tires. Should mention that. But yeah, that's it. I think it looks nice. All in all, under $10. Not a bad car for under $10 in materials. And all of those materials I can use for several more cars. Just that acetone alone, I've already stripped 4 cars with. So that really brings down your costs per car. Thank you for watching. I can't wait until I get an airbrush, though. Just putting that out there. Like and subscribe if you haven't, and please leave any feedback. I would really appreciate it. I hope you guys have a blessed day.